Alright everybody, what is going on? This is Trey, aka CanTreGame, and welcome back to another Demon Slayer character guide video. So today we've got another one of my main characters, Nesuko, Advanced Demon Form. So I would say this is probably my second favorite character. And I mean in terms of team, because obviously my number one character is Makomo and the team is Makomo Sabato. But I would put her number 2 because I enjoy her a lot. First thing to do is obviously show off the movement. So for one, her dash speed actually is, I think it's level 2. So she's not the fastest dash in the game, but still pretty quick. It's pretty slow, like nothing to write home about. I think it's the same speed as the just the normal Nesuko in the Academy one, so not very fast. And they go to the sideways movement. Still looking pretty slow here. Nothing too impressive in the speed department. If we go into the air movement, not the best because you have a lot of hang time. So if people are able to dodge you, I mean, they could dash at you at the right time, then generally you're going to get caught in the air because she hangs too quick. And if we go to boost, not that much faster either. I mean, there's a little bit, but you can tell it's still going pretty slow. The dash and the chase is still pretty slow there. Now we're gonna get into the basic combo she has. So her neutral combo is this. And now we'll go into the launcher. And now we'll go to the heavy knockdown. So now we'll get into her grab. Decent damage, like not super impressive, but decent. Now I get into her heavy attacks. This is that. So already not the best heavy. The reach is surprisingly decent, but the flaw with this heavy is that it's really slow. So a lot of times when someone's hitting you and you'll charge this up, they have time to dodge unless you immediately let go. Like if you try to charge it in the slightest, they can react to it and dodge. A lot of times I fight people online, this barely hits. But when it does hit, you get some pretty good damage off of it. For example, just a basic combo here. So you get a lot of damage. So, and against Udagadagi I did a lot, so just imagine it with an average character with an average health bar that hurt pretty bad. But that's if you get the hit. It's really slow and easy to dodge, so I don't really go for this too much. But if you're able to hit it, you can get some pretty good damage. So now we go into the demon skill. So the first demon skill, the neutral one, is this. Just 3 kicks. The frenzy kicks. It does pretty decent damage. However, you do get a red bar off of it. The best way to use it is in the combo. You can do it in the air as well, and it does travel a bit further. However, unlike the original Nezuko and Tengen, it doesn't have a lot of priority in the air. So if someone's dash going to give you this, 9 times out of 10 they're going to be able to dash and hit you out of it, or dash with a move and hit you out of it. You won't clash too much trying to do it in the air like this. There are some cases where you can hit people, but it's very rare, and you can't cancel out of it, as you can see here. There's no canceling. So if you miss, you're vulnerable, and if you hit someone guarding, obviously you'll be susceptible to getting pushed with this move. If you get pushed guarded off this move and they do a DP, you're gonna eat it. Pretty good damage wise, but you're not gonna be comboing too much if you just do it raw. Definitely not a move I would just throw out there because it's unsafe, you can't cancel it, and it gives you a red bar if you are able to hit it. Now I have seen some people be able to dash at it. I think that's only in the corner though, right in the corner. You can dash at it, but you have to be near a wall, like super close. So it is possible to do that. And there are some cases where if you hit him into a wall, like right here, and don't fly far enough, you can reach him and extend the combo. most of the time you're going to want to dash in. If you do it right in the corner, you are able to dash after it, and you can get a lot of damage off of it, because I feel like she is one of the higher damaging characters when you're near a wall. So don't just do it out in the open. It's unsafe. I mean, it's nothing about getting pushed. Doesn't have a lot of priority, even in the air, and you can't cancel, so you'll be wide open if the character knows what you're doing. Like, for example, if you just do this, and they do an ultimate attack, you're gonna get hit, because you can't do anything once you commit to this move. So only really do it in a combo, not as their dash you got really goes out. Alright, so now we'll get into their tilt skill, which is this. So for one, it does have pretty good range. So that's a plus, and it's pretty quick. Not the fastest, but it's definitely quick. You can definitely catch people off guard if you time it right. However, there are a lot of flaws with this move that I have found, and it's one of my biggest gripes with this character. I honestly think this move needs to be buffed. Now, I know that's crazy. A lot of people put this character at A+ tier or A tier, just high tier, which he definitely earns it with the damage and the way she plays. The reason I say this move needs to be buffed is because this move has no priority. None. If your opponent dashes at you and you try to punish a dash with this, the dash beats this move. I'll try to showcase that actually right now. So give me a second. I'll get full screen so you guys can know I'm timing it perfectly here. Did you see that? That move, it doesn't beat dash. And I think that's pretty stupid given that this is a super attack. Because when Akaza does it with his demon skill, for one, Akaza has invincibility on it and it's stupid quick for one. And his does beat dashes. Her, however, it doesn't. I don't think this move needs invincibility at all. I just think that it actually needs, when it collides with somebody running at you, basically like this, she should have priority. She should win that out. I don't know why a dash is beating this. I think that's stupid. Another flaw of this character is that this character just really sucks at neutral. So unlike a demon, for one, she does not have projectiles at all, so there's no way to keep space, keep them out, play neutral that well. And the fact that this, I feel like her best option would be that it's not beating anyone dashing. And if it's not beating a dash, you can already guarantee it's not beating someone doing a super move. She struggles in getting into the air, and I feel like they buffed that move, that would help a lot. In the air, it does have a bigger hitbox. Much bigger hitbox. So generally when you do this move, you want to do it in the air. You're kind of just reset on neutral. It does have a good hitbox. If you're dashing somebody, you really want to do this in the air because it's pretty big. It can even hit overhead at sometimes. It's kind of hard to show that, but it can hit over the character in the air. So the air, the best time to really do that move, but on the ground, I wouldn't recommend it. And also, you can't cancel out of this move. So once you do it, you're committed, and it gives you a red bar when it hits. You can't even do your neutral combo. You have to do an ult. You gotta do this, or another skill to even chain it. The move's pretty lacking on the ground. The air is the best way to use it. And in the air, however, you can do another skill. Like I usually throw a demon skill there, so I'll show that real quick. A lot of times, or into this, but most people block this one here. So the air is the best place to do that move. Don't do it against dashes. Really only go for it in the air as a punish. You really want to use this move to punish people. Don't just throw it out there, you'll lose it. The air is the best place, and you can only be followed if you chain with another ult. Can't combo with your neutral attacks or go into a launcher. So overall, I think that move is pretty mediocre. I think it needs to be buffed. We go into the guard skill, which is this. This move is invincible, and she teleports. And it has pretty good reach. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, it's really good at catching moves from a far away distance. This move is one of the moves you can do off push guard. So if someone's mashing, you can push them into this. This move does work. Also, a lot of times, because it has a lot of reach, when someone's doing something unsafe, so like for example, they're picking Zenitsu or Tengen and doing their neutral combo, and they get to the point where they're doing the multi-attack part of their combo, and you can't cancel out of it, or if somebody does a special move that I know they can't cancel out of it or commit to, I'll punish them with this. because it travels really far across the screen, so you can get some really good punishes with this move. I have really good reach, you can see there. And that's kind of why in the video you'll see me kind of spam it a lot or abuse it when they're doing something unsafe. This move is really good at with punishing your opponent doing something completely unsafe. They do a heavy attack and they miss. Good punish here. If they do a move that can't be canceled, you're gonna want to do the drop kick pin too. So this move is really good for punishing people. However, if you miss, you are unsafe, but that goes with all DPs. You need to know when to do it and don't just like spam it, obviously, recklessly. Be strategic with it. Most of the time that I do it is when someone's doing a water wheel or when Rengoku's doing the flame tiger because it's slow enough from a distance. Whenever he hits that flame tiger, I'll do that. When Tengen does string performance, I'll do this. So it's really good at punishing those moves that are really unsafe, but you really can't make it with a dash. This move is great. It can't be done in the air, obviously. Good with punishing too. I abuse it a lot. And now we get into the demon skill, because demons do have demon skill. They have 2 of them. First one we'll go to is Fury Slash. So for one, you'll notice it gives you a red bar. However, you aren't going to be able to combo off of this. This is better using the combo ender. She does travel pretty far, so it can be used with punish. However, she doesn't have any invincibility on this move, and it can whiff if you try to punish with that. So the best time to use this move, obviously, is in the combo as a combo ender. So for example, something like this. Chain it after the exploding blood strike. Or you get to launch it. But once you do that move, the combo's over. The best way I use it is when I hit the heavy. And then after that, that's pretty good damage there. 4,400 against Urukadaki. But yeah, it's really good at the combo ender. It has a pretty big hitbox. Another trick you can do with it is after this move. That move is unsafe, actually. This move is unsafe. It can be punished. And it's just a down neutral. However, it's not as safe as Tengen's. Like Tengen's, you can do this and still be a turn, but they try to punch a button. That's a good way to cover it. But generally, it's going to be the combo ender. It does pretty good damage, and when you hit someone guarding, obviously it locks them in. So if you just need to reset the neutral for some distance, I do that and give yourself some space. You can't move until the animation is done, but it kind of just gets the opponent off you. Just use it as a combo ender where you need to create some space. There's not too many other ways you can really use it. And then we go into the next demon skill, and I think this is the best one. Exploding blood dash. It teleports to your opponent anywhere on the screen. Doesn't matter where they are. Full screen teleport. You always meet them there. However, as you've seen, like all the other moves, they get a red bar. Only get a red bar off that. The best time to use it for combo is when you're hitting them already, obviously. But when it's done in a combo, it freezes in place, kinda, and it's guaranteed it'll hit at that point. So that's something to keep in mind. It can be used as a whiff punish, but it's really slow, as you can see. So if your opponent does a move, for the most part, they still have time to block. As you see there, I just mashed neutral and I have time to block. There are some times you can get away with punish, but generally if the opponent's on the lookout for that move, they have time to block it. It's really slow. It is invincible, but only when she's landing. She's not glowing white when I do it here. Not invincible. However, at the end of that move, she is glowing. Are invincible at that point. And I'll get hit, as you can see there. Don't do this move on wake up, because if your opponent's the type to mash when you're on the ground and you try to wake up with this, they'll hit you out of the air. It's really risky to do it on push block too. You can push them into this. I've done it before. If you're fighting somebody who does this on your guard and just backs off, then you can push block into this because they won't hit you out of it. However, if you're fighting somebody on your guard and they just keep going, don't do that move because they'll hit you out of it most of the time. You won't get the invincibility in time. This move is safe on block. See there, I got it for the controller too, and I was mashing, but I couldn't even swing. See there, And I pressed square on both controllers at the same time, and I couldn't even hit with Utakidaki at all. As you can hear it, I'm matching. I'm gonna do it again. I can't swing. A lot of people on Demon Slayer don't know that that move is plus for Nezuko. It's still her turn. So a lot of times they'll try to swing. So what I'll do with that knowledge is I will do this move, and then immediately, so do this. Follow up with the invincible drop kick. Because people love to match. A lot of people don't notice it though, because Eruption of Fire, it covers up when I do this move. So people never really see it coming. And a lot of people that have noticed that I do that, and they catch on, it's very late by then, they try to run away. But if you run, that move will still catch people try to run away from it. So I'll show how it looks when they try to swing. Right there. I was able to swing, however, I was able to do this move before they were actually able to hit me. Keep in mind, a lot of people haven't caught on to that yet. If you just keep moving and this happens, you can dodge it. It doesn't lock on you. So that's something to keep in mind. And another flaw with this move, but it's required to get player, is it can be parried. Right there. That requires good netcode and a good opponent to realize that. There was somebody I fought online who tried to parry me, but he parried too early and it ended up costing me the entire match. You are playing with fire. It's a high risk, high reward move because just throwing it out there for one costs her a demon gauge there for those 2 bars. It does cost one of those. So if you do it, you won't be able to break out of a combo and get hit. And on top of that, all they have to do to counter it is keep moving. And if it's a good opponent, they can parry you, or they can even charge a heavy if they're good enough at reacting. Like I said, best time to do it is when you actually land the hit, because then this scares me. And there's one more trick I found smooth. It's a bait trick. When you knock them on the ground, it still does the animation with the full combo if you're still in the animation. When you get them on the ground like that and you're able to trick them by doing this, like the quick frame version, because you missed, they will think you're open and try to swing. But just like the original tricking to guard this, just do the DP and a lot of times they fall for it. I'll show you here. Right there. And it does require some timing, so it definitely takes practice. And also you have to keep in mind if your opponent tech rolls or not. Some people do tech roll. So if they bounce up quick, you gotta be able to react to them. So it's definitely another one of those high risk, high reward bait tactics. Because if they just lay there on the ground, you're gonna have to space out your timing. But if you're facing somebody you know that just keeps popping up really quick, keeps rebounding, then go for it. If they rebound there, they can get hit by it. If they're laying on the ground, but they're still eager, then do that. With all the skills that I will now get to the combos that I have.
Give it my all. Give it my all.
I also forgot there's one more flaw that I know with this character has, and that's her neutral combo here, so this part here. Like the second time you press square, so I'll just put it twice. Those double slashes leave her open, so if the opponent's guarding. First part is fine, but after that, it's susceptible to getting pushed into dash. You can actually interrupt her. Those two slashes can be just push guarded and dashed into it. So she's open, so a lot of Nesuko players, you'll see them kind of just do this. A lot of them will just hit once to prevent that, but if you just commit like this, she can't cancel that too early. So if you're fighting somebody who just immediately pushes and dashes, she's open to that. Because she doesn't really have any good hitbox priority on that. She doesn't have a sword per se, so pushed right there, or even right here, she can easily get into a dash. She struggles with neutral, like I said. Best what I do is I really just do that. So just like the other Nesuko, I have a good reach, and it's pretty decent damage. Dash and grab her after the sub.
Are you okay?
Yeah, a lot of lower rank players aren't able to react to that. So it's really easy to do that, especially with someone like Nesuko or Tengen or Tanjiro or the original Nesuko, because they have really good reach on that. So I tend to block, push, dodge. I really have to play defensive and wait for those openings because you can't really play neutral. You're gonna have projectiles. I'm not able to call an assist in like this and kind of create an opening myself before force my opponent to block because with a demon, I don't have that luxury. No projectiles, so I really just play defensive, go in with a lot of baits, force my opponent to commit to stuff, and then punish him with either that, get in with that, or hit him with a rush, find an opening. And the moment they guard, you'll see me like dash a lot. I never really commit more than this on guard because it's very easy to punish with a push and dash. I will go for a parry on my opponent. So that's kind of like the best way for me to be able to hit them, like actually damage, because it's really hard for her to open people up. It's really hard for her to get it. It lacks a lot of resources for it. If they buff this move, this would be our best option. I really gotta be on point parrying the assists. For this character as well, getting locked in by an assist followed by a dash, that is death, because when she's getting hit on guard, it's really hard to get people off of her. Like, you don't really have a lot of tools to get people off. The best one you could do is boost like them off of you. She's definitely like an intermediate character, or I would say a pretty difficult character to use. You gotta be good at parrying assists. You have to, because if you get locked in by an assist or one of the better ones like Nesuko and stuff, you're really screwed. Get good at parrying those assists, get good at finding those parries against people dashing, even at close range, like right here. Get a couple hits and just stop and go for a parry to bait my opponent, which has worked a lot in the video. But you guys can look at the video and see how I play. I'm just showing you like the method behind my madness and how I use it to the best that I can possibly. There's room for improvement, obviously. None of these things are like top tier gameplay or anything, but either just some of the tricks I use. I'm always going for bait tricks. And I'm always with punishing my opponent for doing something unsafe with this move if I'm not able to dash at him, because our dash is generally slow. So this character will really test your knowledge of the game, and it will really put your skill to the test using this character. If you don't really have some type of mastery over the fundamentals or the frame data or punishing or really any knowledge of the characters on this game at all, this character isn't going to work out for you that well. The time you put in with this character and the knowledge of the game is well rewarded. Having a grasp of parrying and dodging and all the other mechanics, this character, you're going to have some type of mastery of them or some type of adept knowledge of it. Otherwise, this character is just going to get you no wins. You're going to hate the character. It's going to suck. Despite her damage and all that, it really takes skill to use her like that. She's not just Unga Bunga brain dead or Rengoku easy water wheel waterfall basin. She's not brain dead. She's not as in depth as someone like a Kaza is, because he's got a really high learning curve. Sasamara as well. They're pretty difficult. Being the best character in the game as well as they are, but they are very difficult to use. I think Nesuko definitely has a skill cap to her. She's not easy, beginner friendly at all. Definitely takes a lot of practice, and I think if you actually just pick her up, take her online, have the matches, and find out the struggles that she can have, you're going to lose a lot. Like, believe me, this character definitely rewards those that put the time in. I think that covers up how I would use the character and stuff that I've noticed. Go into her tier placement. I said last video that I believe that Tengen is like bottom of A tier, top B tier. Nesuko, I don't feel that she is incredibly strong outside of her damage output. None of her moves can be canceled out of. A lot of her special moves just hit on base, only give her a red bar, so you aren't getting a big combo anyway. Most of her damage comes from combos in very specific positions, so you aren't even going to be able to get those high damaging combos that easily because you're not going to be able to wall. And the most of her damage that she does get comes from her spinning gauge. You gotta boost for this character a lot too, because she has to spin her gauge to get that good high damage that she can get. You've even seen me surge in the last video, which I hardly ever do, but with this character, there's an exception to surge. I feel like she needs to. Don't let anything they do that's unsafe go unpunished. Get those punishes with this character, otherwise you'll regret it. You may not have another opportunity. And boost. Keep your gauges. If your opponent is about to get their L1 gauge back fully and be able to sub, don't do a demon skill because you'll just be at a disadvantage. They'll be at a full bar with 2 assists and you'll be down a bar or all of them. Only spin for the high damage when you know for a fact your opponent isn't close to being able to break up or get that gauge at all. But if you really have to spin the bar other than that, boost and get it back. Now for a tier replacement, like I said, it's kind of tricky. I definitely feel like she is. I don't even know if I want to put her in A tier, honestly. She's got the damage. Her demon skills are pretty good, but it's just her lack in neutral. Literally every Slayer had the huge advantage over her because they have an assist they can call in and keep you guarding or something. You have to dodge assist, you have to react, you have to parry against an assist. It's always a 2v1 against her. She doesn't have any tools to deal with the fact that she's being 2v1. And when she's fighting a demon, she really can't do a thing because they have projectiles. And I found this out about Nesuko too, big time. She struggles a big time against projectiles. Like I'll show you the character list. I'll show you some of her worst matchups because unlike Tengen, I actually do know some of her terrible matchups. There's some matchups I can't win. Daki destroys Awakened Nesuko. Her range on her scarves is just too far. Daki just can play neutral really good. She's got good reach. She can literally beat people dashing just by matching square. Nesuko doesn't have that luxury, so Daki outranges her. Daki is a very hard match for Nesuko. It's really bad. If you haven't played that matchup with Nesuko, I recommend you do. See how bad it is. Yahaba, I think might be her worst matchup ever. I thought Yahaba online weren't even good, but because playing Nesuko, she can't get in on him. He just keeps shooting arrows. You can dodge, but her dash is too slow. The only way I've been able to hit him, get in on him, is by doing the demon skill with the demon draw where you teleport above him. But other than that, she can't get in. She just gets outranged by the rock. She can't reach him at all. I have to risk a guard skill trying to hit the guy, and if it's blocked, get punished. The arrows just hurt her, the rocks hurt her. She takes a lot of damage as well. She's not the tankiest character, so she gets hurt a lot. And Yahaba deals a lot of damage with his meter. He deals so much damage, so that is a very bad matchup for Nesuko. Sasamaru is also a terrible matchup for her. Like, she throws, dodgeballs, obviously, those Tamari balls, you can't get past that. It's like, the range is terrible, and Nesuko doesn't have anything to counteract it. She doesn't have a projectile of her own. She doesn't have an assist she can call, so these characters really give her problems. Rui, to a degree, makes her struggle. Inmu obviously makes her struggle, so really a lot of her worst matchups is demons. This demon to a degree, but it's not as bad as these two. These two are her worst. I feel like Yahaba is her worst matchup ever, but she is also bad. Inmu is terrible. Daki is a bad matchup for her. A good Akaza is obviously a bad matchup for her too. It's not as crushing the other ones. You can definitely fight back against Akaza, depending on how they play, because Akaza is a freedom of expression character. He has a lot of ways you can play him, but he can play neutral a lot better than she can, so he's a bad matchup for her too. And as far as Slayers go, I've had trouble with characters that you have to chase down. I've had trouble against Shinobu players because they can just do a lot of her moves and they have the ability to cancel out of it and go back into the air. They have a lot of moves that just track you perfectly and keep you guarding. They keep the pressure on you. Nesuko can't really play the game. You have to chase someone down. So obviously following that, Zenitsu is also a bad matchup for her. You have to chase him down. He's easily able to punch you with Thunderclap and Flash. You can't really do anything because you don't have a projectile or anything. So there's just a lot of stuff she can't do against people that just run around on her. Those are all of her worst matchups. Yahaba, Sasamaru. So mainly majority of the demons. The only one that I don't think is the worst for her is Rui, but I do think Rui is the bad match for her because obviously he zones really well and he can set up threads where you can't even get near him. Nesuko can't get through that unless you DPs. And obviously the normal Nesuko's bad for her too because Nesuko can play neutral far better than her awakened form, which is pretty sad actually. I did say in the last video I believe this character needs some buffs and I stand by that. Just buff her exploding punch thing, give it priority, and I think we'll be in a much better spot. I was going to say invincibility, but that would be a little bit too much. I don't think she needs invincibility in that move, but just give it priority. Don't make it lose the dash and make it beat out certain special moves, and we'll be okay. Give it a bigger hitbox, we'll be alright. So I don't think she's A tier, definitely not any of the higher A tier, A plus tier. Definitely not S tier. She's not up there with the other demons, that's for sure. I would put her on the same vote as Tengen, or if not lower than her. I think she is the second lowest A tier. I do believe she's A tier, but maybe the second lowest. But if not that, then she would be somewhere in the B tier. She's either A or B, but I can't put her any higher than that because these other characters I bet her. Any character that doesn't destroy neutral, any character that doesn't have to chase, or any character that doesn't outrange or zone, she can fight pretty good. And unlike the Makoma video, I'm not just putting the character up there. I promise, I genuinely do think she's A tier. She's still a main character. And I do like characters that you have to work harder to win with. I love the mid tiers and lower tiers. Despite Makoma being as terrible as the second worst character in the game, I'm still going to use her, still a main character. Same thing follows Nesuko. Despite her flaws and her strengths, I'm still going to use her. I find the character fun, and just the challenge of having to work harder to get the win to other characters, knowing that I earned the win, gives me some satisfaction. Hope this brought some things to light, just things that I've noticed, and I hope my play style might have taught you something new or something you didn't know. I'll be making more Demon Slayer gameplay content, so don't worry about that. I'll be coming really soon. And until then, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.